Hello, my name is Ebony. As you can tell by the title of this video, I was laid off. So I'm going to tell you about myself. I'm going to tell you about what it felt like to get what happened when I got laid off, what it felt like, and then what I did afterwards. I'm going to try and keep this video probably, 3 to 4 minutes, and that's it. So right now I was a project manager at a company called Bus.com. I was making $144,000 a year, which is big. And I was, they had promoted me to like a program manager role. So I was running, maybe 4 or 5 projects across one whole entity of a program. I had been working there for the last 2 years. My last job was a startup. This is a startup. And I gotta say that I had some inklings that something could happen like this. 3 of the things that were inklings to me. One, we didn't have a second client. So we had this one client that when I got hired, that was all we had, and everything was focused on that one client. Everyone in the very small company, we had a lot of our resources working on this one client. And I was a part of that, and I was dedicated to that one client. And we did not have a second client. So now it's year 2 into that one client, and we still haven't gotten a second client, right? Everybody's still kind of working on this one client. Red flag. Red flag that we don't have someone else. Red flag that we don't have someone in the pipeline. That's a red flag. 2, we had a big transition of senior staff. So I mean senior staff, like someone that I'm close to, our CEO, she had moved on. Now it wasn't a part of the actual layoffs that she moved on, but the fact that she was leaving, the fact that other higher ups or C-suite people were leaving, that's a red flag to me. So that was red flag number 2. And then red flag number 3 was last month on our call, the company said something about maybe being acquired, or maybe they're looking to do a merger or acquisition. Red flag number 3, throw the flag on the play, whoop, because we all know that acquisitions, when they come in, they chopping heads. They trying to see where they can cut costs. And I know that when I would talk to other people in the company and explain how I felt, people would say things like, well, we just got our last funding run, our last series of fundraising. We just got it approved. We got this much $1 million, blah, blah, blah. Also, they would say, well, you're working on the project that's bringing us money, so you should be good. You're in there. Okay. So when I say that I was only half applying, I was half-assing the applying. I was like, applying for one job here, one job there, taking interviews, but not following up, not doing anything more. So on Monday night, late Monday night, I was working, and I saw that there was a mysterious Tuesday meeting at 9:30 a.m. on my calendar. It gave me, that was a pause for me, or a red flag for me, because my manager and I already had a conversation set for that 1 o'clock on Tuesday. So why would we need to meet at 9:30 and at 1 o'clock? So I had started, when I woke up the next day, I was like about to text them and message them on Slack and like, hey, if this is a layoff, just give me a hint, because there was no agenda. And they added one of the other higher ups later on. So I do have a video, sound recording of me getting laid off, of what they said to me, what I said to them. I think that I'll put that in a separate video. Maybe I'll do a thing where I mask the voices. It was hard. I would say when they were talking to me, I cried. And I didn't cry really hard, but I still cried. And then I would say when I got off the call, I cried even harder. It was a lot to process, because it was such a short time. Because they were like, it's Tuesday, your last day is this Friday, right away. I do want to say by Thursday night, when I'm starting my transition, I started transitioning like that Wednesday, that Thursday. I'm working on 75 tasks that are, I'm probably actively working on 5 or 6 of them, maybe 10, right? And then the other ones I'm kind of like waiting for them to get in, right? I'm waiting for this to end so I could do this, because nobody else is thinking of it yet, because they didn't have maybe the time to do it. I want to say also, this is the important part, is that we went from like 40 something people to 16 people, or we know 40 something people to 25 people. So they laid off like almost 16 people. So that's a lot. So if they're transitioning my tasks and they laid off way more people, who are they transitioning it to? So late Thursday night, my manager came back and said, well, can you stay on to transition a little bit better? Can you do 2 more weeks of, part-time, right? 18 hours next week, 18 hours a week after that. And then after that, that'll be your last week. Like, we can't go past this day. I would say that every day I kept saying, well, what am I going to do on Monday? So on Tuesday, I just was trying to process. On Wednesday, I kept thinking to myself, well, what am I going to do on Monday? And on Thursday, I would say, well, what am I going to do on Monday? And then when they called me and stuff like that and asked me to stay on, I would say that now I knew what I was going to do on Monday. And I feel like that thought is going to come back around. My main emotions around the whole layoff is sadness and some excitedness, right? Some little bit of twinge of very scared and excited to see what's going to happen next. I know that this job market is crap. I know that it is people that's been looking for a job for over a year. I know that, the economy is in some type of way. To be clear, at 140K, I was living paycheck to paycheck, or at least 2 paychecks away. So I wasn't doing well. And I think that had some family factors in it. They had some other factors as to why I wasn't doing well. But if I'm honest, by the time I finally made it to a 120 and above salary, the economy was at, you need 120 to live, and I felt like, damn, I just got here and I was achieving this. And because I was living well below that 6, 7 years ago, I make triple what I was making 6, 7 years ago. So life had changed for me. But I guess, it's going to continue to change. That's what I want to say. So that is my story of how I got laid off. That is what I looked for when I was getting laid off. That's, those are the red flags I noticed before I got laid off. And this is how I feel about being laid off. Like, nervous, scared. I'm scared. And I'm smiling, but that's a coping mechanism because I'm petrified. But I also know in my heart that, what's good or bad is happening in my favor. So no matter what happens to me, good or bad, is in my favor. I'm going to come out on top. I'm going to be okay. And I continue to think that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I'm going to link a couple more videos that I'm going to do just about being laid off. Like, what's next? Because I want to know what's next in my chapter, and I'm sure you do too. Thank you for joining me.